All right, Lee, thanks for talking to us. Can you explain, to begin with, what the Marathon des Sables actually is?
Yeah, the Marathon des Sables is a multi-stage ultra race in Morocco, going across the Sahara, various terrains of dunes and jebels and reeds. The race actually goes over 6 days, and the race that I did this year, the distance totaled 160 miles.
And what made you want to do this?
Initially I was looking for a challenge, and I wanted something different. I've kind of kept myself fit in the past, and I've did a lot of mountain climbing and going to the gym, playing football, things like that. But I'd heard about the Marathon des Sables a few years back, and then one of the guys in the office had talked me into going, who he didn't actually go in the end, but I just thought I'd follow it through, and it was an experience well worth doing in the end.
And how did you go about training for it?
It was I got my training all wrong at the outset, I've got to admit. I mean, for the first sort of 5 or 6 months, I was just going out doing really long runs with a really heavy rucksack on, starting to get injuries and didn't really get anywhere. I got some professional advice from guys who had done the MDS multiple times, and also got some really good coaching from people up local as well. So the training would involve weight training in the gym, lots of core, lots of strength, hill sprints, trail runs, vary runs from long distance runs to medium runs, speeding up, and interval training. So it's a mixed bag of all-round training really that would get you through it.
And you mentioned that you'd already done two ultramarathons in preparation for it. How did it compare to those earlier ones?
Well, the two that I did before it were really useful in respect of you'd learned how to run in an ultra and how to move efficiently and conserve energy for the following day. So it's not a race where you want to go all out on day one and then day two you're gonna struggle and it just you just follow on after that. So they were good, like I say, as learning curves, and the experience I got from them was invaluable. But I think one of the most important things of doing the two ultras that I did do before the MDS is I got to meet a couple of my tent mates on these runs who were doing the MDS.
Right.
And picking the tent mates for the MDS out there is really important, that you have a good group of people around you who are, light-hearted, but committed, and they don't take the race or themselves too seriously really, because the race is it's quite a tough race, and it just challenges you in all various ways, and having good people around you to make you laugh and get you through the tough times is a really invaluable experience.
So what was it like once you got out there, and I presume there must be a bit of camaraderie and people helping you through. What was it like when you got out there and met your other competitors or participants, I should say?
Yeah.
What was that like?
Well, I mean, the MDS, it brings top athletes from around the world, Olympians, and then it will also bring out people who are new to ultra racing, like myself, and there is a competitive edge to the race. But what I found about ultra racing is that it's more of a community where people support each other. I don't think you'll find any other sport where you mix with Olympic athletes or professional people who do this for a living, but are they ready, who are on the start line with you, and they're giving you advice. I mean, you don't tend to get that in football and things like that, and it's a really good sport, and it's a good community sport who people look after each other. You're spending days out in the wilderness, basically, self-supported, and the advice that you get from these guys is truly worthwhile listening to.
And so once you were doing it, once you were involved, you said it was spread over 6 days?
6 days, yeah.
So once you're out there doing it, how hard was it, I guess, is the question?
It was really tough. It was. I wasn't expecting it to be. I'm expecting it to be tough, but in terms of the physical training, I'd trained for it and I was ready physically, but the MDS pulls on you psychologically as well, and I don't think many people realise that. There were times when you do go into the odd dog place thinking, what am I doing here? And especially on the long day when you're running at night time, it does challenge you. But one thing that did get me through was the support from people back home. You didn't really have communication with people back home other than emails that was sent to your tent each night, and to say that they were a massive boost is an underestimate. They were, the support that you got from home really drove you along.
And I'm right in thinking you were doing it for a charity, were you not, as well?
Yeah.
What was that? What was the charity, and what was that? How did you do on that front?
Yeah, the charity that I was raising money for was for neuroblastoma. It's a children's cancer. Well, neuroblastoma is a cancer that can hit anyone, but the particular charity that I was raising money for was the children's element of the neuroblastoma. Did really well in relation to that, raised nearly £8,000. My target was 5. I was absolutely overwhelmed with the support. I was, so many people put their hands in their pockets, and I started raising money for the charity earlier on just to give me a little bit more a little bit more pressure so I wouldn't duck out or anything like that. So it really helped in that sense as well.
And once you'd run it, and once you were back, or once you were finished, how did you feel physically and mentally afterwards?
There was
doing 160 miles.
Yeah, well, I mean, the MDS, it was a funny feeling because there was so many sort of I would say a finish lines, but the ultimate finish line was 160 miles. But I wasn't thinking about the big picture. I was thinking about stages of finishing in different stages, and each stage was sort of an achievement. So when say for example the long stage, when I finished that, I was probably the most emotional at that stage, just purely because it was such a benchmark in the week to actually complete it. And then the day after that was your final marathon stage, which was obviously really difficult to do after such a hard week. So that was the finish, and when those two were finished, it was psychologically I was absolutely worn out with it. Physically, believe it or not, my legs were absolutely fine. My feet were trashed. I'd never suffered with blisters before the MDS, and day one both feet got trashed, most of my toes, and I was spent each day in a Doc Trotters, which is the medical team out there. They are absolutely amazing in what they do. They patch you up to the best that they can, but they did a great job on me and got me through the week, I've got to admit.
And despite that, you've got a couple more lined up.
I've got I was hoping to play darts when the MDS had finished, because I said I'd never run again, but the pain soon quickly goes away, and in a couple of weeks' time I've got the V3K Ultra in Wales, which is a 50k ultra race across the Welsh mountains, all 15 3000. So it's 15 mountains, all 3,000 meters in height.
At least it's not in the Sahara.
Yes, no, at least it's that, yeah.
Lee, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, cheers, thank you. Cheers.